Hello, I am Tyler Leshner and welcome to the Source News. With only days to the federal election, can Bill Shorten and Labor hold their pole position on Saturday night? Can Bill Shorten and Labor hold their pole position in the upcoming election? Bill Shorten sits in pole position for the election after 6 years of coalition chaos.
I know Bill and his team will be working very hard up until close of polls on May 18, and he's hoping they get the result, because I can tell you this, we definitely need a change of government in Australia, and I hope Bill Shorten's victorious on Saturday.
Shorten's union background has been focusing on the everyday person.
Yes, Mr Shorten does appear to be focusing more on the everyday person in this upcoming election, and I think that by him actually focusing more on the everyday person and providing more funding to everyday people, he will have more of a popular response at the polls.
Well, Bill Shorten definitely has a union background that he can draw upon, but I think it's important to know also that he's been in federal parliament for a long time, engaging in national issues, and I do think he has the policies that will support working families in this election.
Will Shorten's popularity with the working class be enough to swing the election?
Well, I think the great thing the Federal Labor Party's done in this election and also in the previous election is they haven't taken a small target strategy. They've been honest and upfront with the people of Australia about their policy agenda. In fact, in some ways, they've released more policy detail than the actual government has, which I think is a good thing, because people want to know what their government will do and what their policies are. So I think the really good thing with a Shorten government is you're not going to get any surprises. They're really clear about what their agenda is, and I think it's an agenda that will help drive the economy, improve jobs and prosperity in Australia.
Does Bill Shorten's campaign have the dynamism to take the election?
Bill Shorten will be going for every vote that he can get, no matter what demographic or walk of life you're from. That's what you do in politics, but I'm really hopeful that Bill Shorten will win the election. I certainly want him to win the election, and I'll be supporting him, but obviously it's up to the people on election day, and hopefully they make a choice and support him to be Prime Minister.
As Labor's popularity grows, Bill Shorten's confidence increases. Will the polls reflect this in a positive outcome? I'm Tyler Leshner of Griffith Source News. Hundreds have taken to the Brisbane streets for the annual Labor Day rally and a campaign to change the rules for better pay and job security. Ashley Stay reports.
While Labor Day might be a public holiday for most, Brisbane union members have come out in full force to rally for a change in government in the hopes for future fair wages.
Labor Day holiday is probably my favourite holiday. All the workers come out in a show of solidarity. We're here today to support the unions and show our support for all the work they've already done for us. We're also here to show them our support for the upcoming work that they still have to do.
In a submission lodged with the Fair Work Commission's annual wage review, leader for the opposition Bill Shorten called for a substantial increase in the minimum wage. With the federal election later this month, the rally could not have come at a better time for the Australian Labor Party. Wages have been a central focus for the election pitch of Mr Shorten, who believes that a fair wage system will be a drive for demand and strong economic growth. Along with improved wages, the ALP has also promised to restore penalty rates and protect subcontractors.
What we're looking for is to have more constant work and to have fairer working conditions. No more of this temporary working contracts that they have. We want more full-time work for more people, so people are able to feel comfortable and have a living wage.
Leader for the coalition, Scott Morrison, however, believes Labor's proposition has the potential to cripple the Australian economy, as it will put enormous costs on small businesses.
This current government's letting companies get away with ripping their workers off, hiring labour hire, which then you have no rights at work, where you actually can get sacked on the spot for no apparent reason. The employers, they don't give a stuff about workers, they're just there to make their money. That's why I'm out here today marching.
I'm Ashley Say, reporting for the Source News.
University life in Australia is becoming increasingly difficult for students, with many living below the poverty line. With Centrelink setting the age of independence at 22, students are struggling to receive government help. Jake Kinnan reports.
Like many other students, Jack is forced to work a casual job to help support himself while at university. Leaving his hometown of Emerald to study, he admits he has experienced financial hardship.
No one to kind of help me out or anything, so I just had to rent out an apartment. So it's obviously the rent costs, the moving costs, furnishing the whole apartment.
Moving out of home is tough for most school leavers, but those living regionally moving for university struggle dramatically.
everything involved, moving away from home, big city, all those things that come with it, money should be your last problem.
Students born and raised in Brisbane are often still living at home and are not faced with the financial burdens that others are. Tyron Runman still lives at home with his parents and admits he doesn't have many financial commitments.
I don't really experience any financial hardship because I live at home. The only expenses that I would pay for is petrol.
Students in Australia are allowed to apply for Centrelink Youth Allowance but are assessed first to test their eligibility.
So I have to move. I'm independent. I'm paying my rent. What else do I have to show?
Centrelink deems that students under the age of 22 are not considered dependent, meaning that their parents' income is taken into consideration when applying.
I don't understand that at all.
And as Australian students continue to struggle across the nation, we contacted Centrelink for comment, and their response was to refer to their website. I'm Jake Kiernan, reporting for The Source News.
Reaching speeds of nearly 300 kilometres an hour, rising star Ted Collins is competing in the Australian Superbike Championship this weekend. Taylor Welch reports.
Young, fast, and a thrill for speed. At just 18 years old, Ted Collins made history books by becoming the youngest rider to win an Australian Supersport Championship. Following in his father's footsteps, Ted started riding motorcycles at just 6 years of age.
When I was younger, I was always going to the track with my dad, who raced in the national championship, and I just always loved the bikes, and from a young age, that was all I really wanted to do.
Trying his feet in several different motorcycle racing disciplines, Ted found his passion in road racing at an early age.
I did try motocross and dirt track and stuff like that, but the ultimate goal was always to go road racing.
After impressing Next Gen Motorsports team boss with consistent top 3 results in the Moto3 category, Ted was then given the opportunity to race in a factory team, where he stepped up to the 600 Supersport Championship.
I was racing at Moto3, and the team owner took me into the truck and said he'd been, had a bit of an eye on me and was, looking how I was going. And then the next race, I actually managed to finish on the podium. So I think that sort of almost sealed the deal for me. And then from there, we've been together my whole career basically.
Despite having a hefty crash at round 2 of Wakefield Park, Collins says this has not altered his goals to be an Australian champion.
Unfortunately, when we went to round 2, we had a really big crash on Friday practice. We were in a good position, and then unfortunately had a big crash and wrote the bike off, and had a few injuries after that. So that set us back a lot that weekend, and we struggled. But moving into the rest of the year, I think we can bounce back from that well, and we'll have a good season.
Taylor Elf, Griffith News.
Thank you for watching The Source News. I am Tyler Sleshner, and have a good night.